There's a certain kind of person in every room. They don't talk the most, they don't dress the loudest, they don't announce themselves when they walk in. But something about them pulls every eye in the room without them asking for it. People lean in when they speak. People wonder about them when they leave. People remember them vividly, specifically, long after they've forgotten everyone else at that table. You've met this person, you remember exactly who came to mind just now. And here's what's interesting. That quality, that magnetic, understated, quietly commanding presence, it isn't a personality type you're born with. It's a set of behaviors, learnable, practicable, and far simpler than you think. This video is going to show you exactly what they are. But more importantly, it's going to show you why they work at a psychological level so you can use them naturally instead of performing them awkwardly. Stay until the end, because the last one is the most powerful and it's the one most people get completely backwards. Part 1: What smart and mysterious actually means. Before we go anywhere, we need to kill a myth. Mysterious does not mean cold, it does not mean distant. It does not mean brooding in the corner pretending you don't care about people. That's not mysterious, that's just off-putting. Real mystery is warmth with depth, presence with restraint. The sense that what you're seeing is genuinely interesting and that there is significantly more beneath the surface that you haven't been shown yet. Think of it like an iceberg. Most people show everything immediately. Their opinions, their insecurities, their entire history, their running commentary on every thought they've ever had, all of it immediately to anyone who will listen. The mysterious person shows you the tip, confidently, completely, and lets your imagination do the rest. And smart, real smart, the kind that commands rooms, isn't about vocabulary or credentials or name-dropping the last book you read. It's about the quality of your attention, the precision of your words, and the ability to make other people feel genuinely understood. Put those two things together, depth with restraint, attention with precision, and you get something most people spend their entire lives trying to manufacture and never quite achieving. Now let's build it deliberately. Part 2: Speak less than you think you should. The single fastest way to seem more intelligent and more intriguing is to say less. Not because silence is inherently powerful, though it is, but because restraint implies depth. When someone speaks carefully and sparingly, the listener's brain automatically assumes that what isn't being said is worth hearing. It fills the gap with something compelling. When someone speaks constantly, without filter, without pause, the brain does the opposite. It stops listening. It assumes everything has already been revealed. There is no mystery left to pursue. The psychologist Robert Cialdini calls this the scarcity principle. We assign more value to things that are rare. Your words are no different. Flood the market and the price drops, ration them and the price climbs. Practically, this means one thing: before you speak in any meaningful conversation or situation, ask yourself one question. Does this add something, or am I just filling silence because silence makes me uncomfortable? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of what most people say in most conversations is the second one. It's noise generated by discomfort with quiet. The person who learns to be comfortable in silence, who doesn't scramble to fill every gap, instantly reads as the most grounded, most interesting person in the room. Silence isn't awkward when you own it, it's magnetic. But silence alone isn't enough, because a mysterious person who says nothing interesting when they do speak is just quiet. What you say matters too, and that's where smart comes in. Part 3: Ask better questions than everyone else. Here's the counterintuitive secret about being perceived as intelligent. It has almost nothing to do with what you know, and almost everything to do with what you notice. The smartest people in any room are rarely the ones delivering the most information. They're the ones asking the questions nobody else thought to ask. The ones who hear what everyone heard and pull out the thread nobody else saw. A great question does 3 things simultaneously. It shows you were listening deeply, not just waiting for your turn. It reveals a quality of mind that statements rarely can, and it puts the other person in the position of doing the talking, which makes them feel genuinely engaged and associate that feeling with you. Dale Carnegie said it almost a century ago, and it has never stopped being true. You can make more friends in 2 months by being genuinely interested in people than in 2 years of trying to get people interested in you. The mysterious person doesn't talk about themselves constantly. They ask about you in a way that makes you feel like the most interesting person in the room, And somehow, paradoxically, that's what makes them the most interesting person in the room. Practice this. In your next meaningful conversation, resist the instinct to match every story with your own story. Ask one follow-up question instead, then another. Go 2 layers deeper than the conversation would naturally go. Watch what happens to how that person looks at you. But questions and silence only work if the foundation underneath them is real. And that's what the next part is about. Part 4. Develop a rich inner life. You cannot manufacture depth. You can practice restraint. You can ask better questions, you can own your silence, but if there is nothing genuinely interesting happening beneath the surface, the whole thing collapses the moment someone looks closely. This is where most people trying to seem mysterious fail completely. They adopt the aesthetic without doing the work. They speak less but have nothing to say. They stay quiet but there's no depth behind the quiet. Real mystery is not a performance. It is the natural byproduct of a person who is genuinely engaged with the world, who reads widely, thinks independently, holds interesting opinions they've actually examined, and has experiences that didn't come from a screen. The most magnetic people you've ever met were not performing, they were simply full of perspective, full of curiosity, full of a rich, private inner life that occasionally surfaced in the form of a single sentence that made you want to know everything about them. How do you build that? Read things that have nothing to do with your career. Develop opinions, real ones, examined ones, on things that matter to you. Spend time alone with your thoughts without filling it with content. Travel, even locally, with genuine attention to what you observe. Collect experiences and let them teach you something. The goal is not to become a walking encyclopedia. The goal is to become someone who has actually lived inside their own mind and whose presence reflects that. That kind of depth cannot be faked, but it can absolutely be built. One more, and this is the one I promised you at the start, the one most people get completely backwards. Part 5. Stop needing the room. Everything we've talked about, the restraint, the questions, the depth, none of it lands if underneath it you are desperate for approval. People feel that desperation, not consciously, but they feel it the way you feel a shift in temperature. Something is slightly off, something is reaching. And the moment someone senses that you need their validation, that you need them to think you're smart, to find you interesting, to approve of you, the mystery evaporates instantly. Because mystery requires a certain self-containment. The sense that this person would be exactly who they are whether you were watching or not, that your opinion of them is welcome but not required, that they are not performing for the room, they are simply in it. This is the hardest one because the need for approval is deeply human. It's not a flaw, it's wiring. But it is something you can work on deliberately by building the one thing that makes approval-seeking unnecessary. Self-respect rooted in self-knowledge. When you know who you are, genuinely, not as a performance, you stop needing other people to confirm it. And that self-containment, that quiet confidence that doesn't ask for anything from the room, is the single most magnetic quality a human being can possess. It cannot be copied, it cannot be worn, it has to be earned. And the path to earning it is everything we talked about today. Smart and mysterious is not a character type. It is not something you either have or don't. It is restraint in your words, depth in your questions, richness in your inner life, and the quiet confidence of someone who has stopped needing the room's permission to feel whole. Put those together and you don't have to try to be interesting. You simply are. If this video landed for you, you're going to want to watch this one next. It goes directly into the identity piece we touched on here, why most people stay average in the one area they care about most, and exactly what breaks that ceiling. It's on screen right now. Go watch it. The version of you that walks into rooms differently is one video closer.